Angelina, to your left side.
Blake Lively completely loses it after Angelina Jolie shuts her down on live TV with a single brutal sentence. While Angelina's legacy speaks for itself, Blake's attempt to fake her way onto Time's most influential list backfires spectacularly, leaving her humiliated.
Magazine just announced the 100 most influential people of 2025. Wait, why is Blake Lively there?
In one devastating line, Angelina Jolie calmly exposed Blake Lively, saying, "There's a difference between telling a story and stealing someone else's voice," instantly wrecking Blake's pastel-drenched PR campaign as Hollywood collectively gasped. Fashion blogs roasted her, advocacy panels recoiled, and influencers like Florence Pugh and Charlize Theron unfollowed her in a flurry.
For disgusting and embarrassing inclusion on Time 100 Most Influential People.
Meanwhile, Angelina Jolie didn't post a selfie, issue a Notes app apology, or even flinch. Her work speaks for itself. While Blake Lively's efforts come off as nothing but filtered, recycled, plagiarized noise.
It's honestly comedy at this point. I don't even think I'm offended anymore by anything that this degenerate does.
And what makes it even worse is the comparison. Blake Lively shouldn't even be mentioned in the same breath as Angelina Jolie, a woman who has spent over 20 years in literal war zones, completed 60 field missions, served as a UNH special envoy, and founded legal aid programs for refugee children.
Well, as conditions are, the refugees here count themselves as the lucky ones.
Angelina Jolie even received the Jean Herschel Humanitarian Award, and that's just the highlight of her resume. She's been on the front lines while Blake Lively was front row at Fashion Week. Angelina points out that Hollywood isn't always healthy or easy, whereas Blake's so-called contributions to humanity amount to Magnolia Pearl Jeans, a brand that marketed a plantation-themed line, and marrying Ryan Reynolds at Boone Hall, an actual former slave plantation.
Decided to get married at the Boone Plantation in South Carolina. That's where they got married. There's no slaves in that plantation right now, but you know, it was all about history, the braids. Were there ever slaves here? Did bad stuff happen here? How dare you get married here?
Because nothing says eternal love like "till death do us part" at a venue where people were once forced into labor, and when called out, Blake Lively responded by crying in a People magazine spread and making a donation to the NAACP. Reported anywhere from $200,000 to $2 million, proving even her money has commitment issues.
That they donated this money is because after multiple times, after year, they had been getting slammed and receiving so much backlash for their plantation wet.
And speaking of commitment, Blake Lively's dedication to faking humanitarian work shines through her homebound campaign, which, on the surface, looked inspiring with soft voiceovers, pastel branding, and a website that screamed, "I care beautifully," but its tagline, "Rebuilding what's been broken, one voice at a time," was copied word for word from Angelina Jolie's 2019 UNHCR campaign. Blatant, copy-paste level theft.
What happened in 2019 was that Blake and Ryan were once again in desperate need of good PR. And I will say this time it wasn't their fault.
And it gets even more shameless. The village Blake Lively used for her feel-good photo ops had been supported by Angelina Jolie for over 6 years, yet Blake showed up for a weekend shoot with her glam squad, acting like she discovered empathy, while word-for-word phrasing from Angelina's 2019 refugee campaign filled Blake's homebound ads. Obviously theft, not homage, with no credit given. Sources say Angelina was livid, prompting a UN intervention, and Blake's team panicked, taking the website offline, removing the voiceover and Instagram post, leaving no apology or clarification. While the stark contrast was undeniable, Angelina has been on the front lines in Syria, Cambodia, and Congo, earning real, raw impact, whereas Blake attempted to rebrand trauma like a lifestyle blog, with visuals that were laughably identical but entirely hollow.
That rape is an inevitable part of conflict.
In Blake Lively's case, it looked like a Vogue spread about suffering. Angelina did all the work, and Blake just changed the font to pastel pink, trying to claim extra credit. It's like walking into someone's house, repainting the walls, taking a selfie, and calling it your own. She didn't just borrow inspiration. She hijacked a legacy and expected applause, believing that a sweet smile and the right Instagram filter would fool the world. But it didn't. This is in 2012, and silence for likes no longer works. It's part of a pattern. Plantation wedding silence, obsession with Southern aesthetics, fake apologies, and now a forced philanthropic bow over her reputation. But the cracks are visible. Angelina sees them, Hollywood sees them, and the public isn't playing dumb anymore.
People were outraged. And I'm not kidding. I'm showing you this headline from NBC News. It says, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively apologize for plantation wedding. Now, this is published in 2020.
While Blake Lively signs posters of characters she never played and pretends to have discovered activism, Angelina Jolie sits on 2 decades of real impact, quietly and gracefully accomplishing more than Blake could ever manufacture with all the PR in the world. That one honest sentence from Angelina marked the beginning of the end. Not because it was loud, but because honesty in a world of Photoshop philanthropy hits like a brick. Meanwhile, Blake's literal plantation wedding at Boone Hall, South Carolina, in 2012, where she said, "I do," with Ryan Reynolds on a site soaked in human suffering, stands as a stark reminder that nothing says fairy tale romance like exchanging vows where slaves were once auctioned, a choice she made voluntarily and publicly.
She has a history of weird, kind of racist thing.
Then came 2018, when Ryan Reynolds tweeted "Wakanda Forever," trying to be woke, and the internet instantly reminded him of reality with one savage question. Didn't you get married on a plantation? Silence, sweating, and the sudden realization followed that social justice doesn't pair with antebellum aesthetics, leading to 2 more years of mounting backlash before they finally apologized in 2020, with Ryan admitting the whole situation was impossible to reconcile.
It's super expensive as well, horrible clothing, and it's another proof that Blake Lively, first of all, doesn't have any sense of fashion, and she would wear plantation fashion.
But the real kicker came when they pulled out the celebrity apology cheat code, the donation. Blake and Ryan supposedly gave $1 million to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, though some reports suggest it may have been only $200,000, proving that when your brand is built on smoke and mirrors, even your receipts come with disclaimers.
Her and Ryan apparently gave a bunch of money to NAACP's Legal Defense and Educational Fund.
So basically, they tried to cover 7 years of racism-soaked criticism with a donation smaller than Blake Lively's Met Gala budget, and Time magazine, bless their delusional hearts, decided that this PR-fueled gesture made her a titan. Yes, a titan, implying strength, intellect, and power, placing her alongside Serena Williams and Simone Biles.
Lively is, and calling her a titan. A titan is defined by a person of very great strength, intellect, or important.
But it gets worse. In 2025, Blake Lively appeared in an interview gushing over her Magnolia Pearl jeans, calling them her real-life jeans, as if that were charming. Except Magnolia Pearl literally launched a plantation-inspired fashion line, embracing a Southern plantation core, aesthetic rooted in slavery, leaving you wondering who approved this, who buys it, and who in their right mind proudly wears it as a symbol of empathy and justice.
I just really loved those patchwork like jeans that you have.
Magnolia Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
Those are my real life jeans.
Screenshots of the brand's campaign blew up online faster than you could say, "Wow, what the actual hell?" and people were rightfully disgusted. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. "This is aesthetic racism for the rich. A cosplay for those who want to romanticize pain without ever experiencing it," and Blake wore it as if it were vintage Chanel.
And they clearly ignored it. In fact, Blake has a history of romanticizing the Deep South with her weird blueberry muffins that she did. Like, she has a history of weird, kind of racist.
Her entire fashion history is a non-stop series of tone-deaf disasters, from slavery-themed muffins to her funeral-core Barbie red carpet looks. Blake isn't serving empathy. She's serving revisionist history wrapped in expensive shoes.
Very clear what it is. The slave house, all of it. It's all very clear.
Meanwhile, halfway across the world, Angelina Jolie sits in trauma centers with survivors of sexual violence, testifies before the UN, meets with refugees, and changes real lives, while Blake Lively looks like a Gone with the Wind, themed unpaid PR intern. The contrast isn't just striking, It's downright embarrassing.
It was listed between Serena Williams and Simone Biles, and what they say about her is that she is a civil rights leader, which is so offensive.
Now, the biggest joke of all. Blake Lively's fake fan moment at the Another Simple Favor premiere, smiling with a Sharpie, signing photos of Lady Deadpool, except she never played Lady Deadpool, never wore the suit, never shot the scene. The pictures were of her stunt double, yet she autographed them as if doing charity for eBay flippers, a stark contrast to the past decade when she speedwalked past fans like they carried subpoenas, all during a full-blown PR crisis trying to repair her image. After the Justin Baldwin drama.
Do you want this picture? And you can go over there and get her signature on it, and then you maybe can sell it on eBay and make $25.
And let's not forget the cherry on top. Her now iconic quote, "I finally have a voice." Really? You've had a megaphone since 2005, fronting every shampoo brand, movie poster, and red carpet, with entire Vogue spreads, private Chanel fittings, and commercial contracts longer than most people's resumes. The only thing you finally found was the panic button after your reputation went up in flames. This isn't a breakthrough. It's a poorly executed brand strategy.
As we know, Blake Lively did never wear that Ladypool suit. So this is the stunt woman who pretended to be Blake Lively in the Deadpool movie. And she's signing it, smiling for another movie she is promoting.
And don't you love how all of this conveniently unfolded while she was entangled in legal drama with Justin Baldwin? The timing is almost too perfect, as if her PR team sat in a war room plotting how to make Blake look relatable, print out photos of her stunt double, throw her at fans she usually ignores. Genius. This entire rebrand has been a long episode of performative nonsense, not real activism, just pageantry. And the sad part is,
Being called racist, what do? Well, we're rich. We're fabulously rich. We have money. And so they contacted the NAACP and wrote them a big check. Okay, that's what happened.
she genuinely thought it would work. Slip on some plantation-themed jeans, wave a check at the NAACP, sign stunt double merch, and the world would forget. But we didn't, and we're not that gullible. This whole new Blake shtick is about as convincing as a Hallmark movie about genocide. Pretty colors, zero depth.
The reality is, they did give $2 million to fund social justice initiatives with the NIC. I guess after that donation, they were pressed up to give more, and so they both each gave $1 million.
While Angelina Jolie drops a single line at a summit and shifts the entire culture, Blake Lively fumbles through forced fan moments and aesthetic missteps disguised as charity, and the fact that Time magazine dared to label her a titan for this isn't influence. It's an insult.
100 of this year as a titan for a donation they made that they were using to cover their own racism, and now they're suddenly 6 years later a titan of the.
And let me tell you, if Bleach had a brand ambassador, it would be Blake Lively, because she didn't just try to scrub her history, she attempted to erase the entire internet like we wouldn't notice. Between 2018 and 2022, her plantation wedding trended annually, roasted like clockwork. But now, silence. The receipts vanish. User not found. Account protected. Reddit threads once full of screenshots and takedowns locked, deleted, or mysteriously wiped. A classic case of textbook reputation laundering.
She's here because she made a contribution of $200,000 to the NAACP legal defense fund, amid criticism for previously having their wedding on a former plantation.
Let's be real. This isn't some random coincidence or digital glitch. It has PR fixer written all over it. Rumor has it that someone like Jed Wallace and his online cleanup crew were called in, the kind who treat scandal like an SEO issue. They don't erase your past. They bury it under 6 layers of algorithmic fluff. Suddenly, Blake's plantation wedding vanishes, while her pastel-themed empowerment posts are pinned like sacred scripture. It's giving Bleach, hard reset, and full-blown panic mode.
From Magnolia Pearl, which is a very controversial fashion brand. From the people I've seen that's done research on this brand, it's called the Plantation fashion brand.
I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. Magnolia Pearl released a plantation line.
And the timing. Just the same week she lands on Time's 100 most influential people list, her homebound campaign mysteriously goes under maintenance, casually disappearing. All those pretty photos, the stolen Angelina tagline, the video where she looked like she was advertising charity for Sephora, poof, gone. Leaving only a broken link and the unmistakable smell of desperation, because when you're not guilty, you don't wipe your entire campaign site the moment questions arise.
Probably never see again. And for her to be included is disgusting. But we know it's pay for play. People are researching how much it costs to actually be included in.
The truth is, Blake didn't erase the past because it was unfair. She erased it because it was accurate. And when your entire brand is a performance, even one real moment can collapse the whole act. Her timeline now looks cleaner than her filtered face in a L'Oreal ad. This isn't reputation management. It's digital witness tampering, and it screams one thing: guilt.
That seems unlike them. They would, keep donating money to make themselves worthy. This whole thing is just shocking to me. It's shocking to me.
But guess who wasn't scrubbing anything Hollywood? They backed away quietly, coldly, and brutally, because unlike Blake Lively's long-winded captions, Hollywood doesn't do dramatic breakups. They just unfollow. Florence Pugh and Charlize Theron were the first to go, subtle, quick, and surgical. Then came Natalie Portman's silent power move. She followed Angelina Jolie and posted the coldest line imaginable: "Legacy isn't about being seen. It's about what remains." That wasn't a quote, it was a eulogy. Soon after, a leaked UNHCR gala photo showed Angelina deep in conversation with Amal Clooney, while Blake stood in the background, alone, uninvited, unnoticed, like a wedding crasher at her own downfall. The internet roasted her relentlessly, captions reading "The room knows," as she finally realized she wasn't the main character. Within weeks, Emma Watson and Lupita Nyong'o unfollowed too, leaving Blake clapping for herself in a silent protest of one. Hollywood didn't announce her cancellation. It just stopped inviting her, because real cancellation isn't loud. It's quiet, strategic, and permanent. Meanwhile, Angelina didn't tweet, post, or retaliate. She simply existed, radiating decades of earned respect while Blake unraveled in pastel chaos. One calm, elegant sentence from Angelina shattered the illusion completely, like cheap glass cracking under the weight of truth.
Received glowing tribute inside the magazine from civil rights attorney Cheryl Lynn Eiffel, which, shame on you, Cheryl Lynn. And if she's part of NAACP, it makes...
Blake Lively has always been about illusion, photoshopped empowerment, market-tested voice, focus-grouped activism, and foundation-funded optics, and it all collapsed under the weight of one real moment, one sentence that no lawsuit, scandal, or internet dragging could replicate. Her attempts to buy legacy with a few $1 million and staged photo shoots, thinking Photoshop and philanthropy could erase a past built on performative privilege, failed spectacularly. Time magazine labeling her a titan for a $2 million donation, maybe $200,000, depending on the source, did nothing to save the brand. Pastel branding, stolen taglines, and faux empowerment captions all crumbled as people cringed instead of applauding. Blake tried to present herself as a civil rights icon while wearing plantation core fashion and handing out stunt double autographs, an audacity of Olympic proportions, and for the first time, no stylist, lawyer, PR strategist, or Ryan Reynolds swooped in to clean up the mess. She was alone, staring at a brand she couldn't Photoshop back into relevance. Wealth aside, the irony is stark. The woman who claimed she finally had a voice spent her career drowning in noise, and only when the room cleared and the invite stopped did she realize that the voice she thought she found wasn't hers at all. So, was Blake exposed for good this time? The answer feels painfully obvious.